Hey VC, how you doing? This is Christian down here in Santiago, Chile. I'm doing this response to this thread that's going around here in the VC. It was started by a newer guy in a newer channel, at least to me. It's the Vinyl Narrative. I'm going to go lately and sub to his channel and see what kind of videos he's doing. It seems like a really cool guy to visit. What he wanted us to do, as I have seen many other channels doing in response to a threat, is show at least five things from a collection, records from a collection that we are not going to sell under any circumstances. I know it's hard to never say never, because sometimes life gets in the way things change, priorities change. Life is life. You can argue without that, because sometimes you have to do what you have. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. So, but here I have one, two, couple of records, cassettes, and one CD. I'm going to show 7 things from my collection, from my music collection. It's rather small. It's not a huge collection. It's not. It's I don't consider it a collection. It's the kind of things I like to listen. I'm not considering myself a collector. I don't seek out things because they are rare, because there's the different kind of presence, record variants, colors, misprints, etc. Different present. I have things because I like to listen to those to the music, and in most cases they get me back to that awesome period of our lives when we were young and we were discovering we were discovering music and different things in life. So without further ado, I'm going to go with three. No, let's go. Yes, let's go with three records from my discography. The first one is yes. Let's go with this one. This is the first record I bought back then, many months ago, in the mid 80s. I can't recall if it was 83 or 84. I remember going to this record store with my mom and my brother. I knew this name, but I have never seen this album, and I bought it because I knew the name of the band. Lately, I realized this was a different present from the things I was listening, and it was a big surprise hearing this album sang in another language. Of course, I'm talking about Barón Rojo, and their biggest album, it's Volumen Brutal, but this is the UK version, or at least the one made and released for the English market. This is everything sang in English. This is the one they recorded at Kingsway Records in London. As it says here, this is another album. This is the masterpiece. This is the best heavy metal album ever released by a band that sings in Spanish. Without question, this is the biggest band in this type of music from this language speaking market, if you want to know. Barón Rojo, one at least one album that I never get away, sell it from my collection. So there goes Barón Rojo and Volumen Brutal. Next is a huge album from 1987. I remember vividly listening to this album first time on a local radio that has had a show Sundays afternoon around 6 o'clock, when they play a full album from start to finish without commercials, without anything. They play track number 1 to the end, and if it was, I think at half hour they put some ads, but that's all. And I remember listening to this album and I thought, oh my god, what is this band? Is this awesome? This new type of music, at least to me, it reminds me of Iron Maiden, but as Mene says, it's Iron Maiden on steroids. This is Helloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1. I got this album made, I think, that year for my birthday. It was a gift also for my brother that he's now living in Canada. This is an OG from back in the day. This is not a gatefold that I have seen. Maybe that's the European press or the English pressing, but this is not, of course, not a gatefold on the RCA record label, if I'm correct. Yes, RCA. There it goes. And this is almost a perfect album. My only complaint, it's a little bit too short. With the opening track, Intuition, great, I'm Alive, Little Time, Twilight of the Gods, A Day That Wasn't Right, Future World, Halloween, the 13 minutes epic opus they created, and Follow the Sign, closing the album with 1 minute and 46 days. That's almost an instrumental, but it's all great. Yes, another one that's, if I can, it's not going to leave my collection. There it goes. Next, this is an album that I think, yes, I'm positive that my brother and I bought it when we made a trip. I think only the two of us, or maybe with my dad, to Buenos Aires for a weekend to hang out many months ago, and we were going to a record stores, not particularly looking after records, because back then it was different. We were listening to a lot of music. We were seeking out for records, but we found this great early pressing. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the original inner, but it's Metallica's Kill 'Em All. It's a very early pressing. This is on the Megaforce import record label. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the inner, so we have to custom made one. The record is a white label. I don't know if it's a first pressing, early pressing, but that's the record we used to listen many times with my brother, and I thinking this is the coolest thing we have ever listened to back then, because this wasn't the first thing we heard from Metallica. Of course, we listened to Ride the Lightning. I have in another place that could have also been the thing I could have shown, but it's still cool to have this one in our collection. So there it goes. I don't know where it is because it says includes a live poster. I don't know where it is right now, but it was here. I had to try to find out where it is, but it was a small poster like this. It's still cool to have Metallica Kill 'Em All here in my collection. Next, let's talk about 3 cassettes from back in the day. Of course, back then cassettes were the big thing here in at least in this part of the world, because they were cheap and they were easy to move along with. You can put back then in the cars that have a cassette player. Of course, back then we never had, or at least I've never seen any cars with the 8 tracks, just a radio, and the more advanced or high-end cassette radios have a cassette. So from those days, 2 things that I don't think I will ever say. I have shown this many times. These are my 2 cassettes made them from back in the day. This is of course Killers and Peace of Mind. This is both Chilean Presence. The cool thing about this one, I've tried many times, this is one that has everything translated to Spanish. Also Killers, everything translated to Spanish, as it says, sorry about the glare, it says Asesinos instead of Killers. Nothing too fancy, just white printed shell. Also this one, but still cool to have this one with me, because they are part of my youth and my development in listening to music. Also this is the first cassette I think my brother and I bought back then. Asked my parents to buy this, and we play this thing over and over and over. Every time we went riding on the car with the family. And I think at the end, my father end up loving this. My parents end up appreciating these guys and the music, because one song they kind of remind them of the old music they used to listen. This is Queen, The Game. Again, everything is translated to Spanish as it says here. El juego, as you can see, it has been played many times, but great memories. Going with the family, I listen to these songs. Play the Game, Dragon Attack, another one, Bites the Dust, Crazy Little Thing Called Love. So that's why, even though it's not in a great condition or shape, I don't know if you put this one in the deck, it's going to play, or it sounds okay. But trust me, it's not leaving my music room, at least. And the last one is a CD, and it's also Maiden related. This is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Why am I showing this CD? Because this is the first Maiden CD I bought when we got a CD player back then. We got a CD player late in 91, I think, if I'm correct, and or maybe a couple of years earlier. So this is the first Maiden CD I ever bought. It was an awesome experience listening to this new Maiden, because it has the new sound they were having with the guitar synth, and it sounded so different that listening to mostly cassettes and some records that I have back then. So, and having the lyrics just in a small, of course, in a small booklet, it was easy to read. It was easy to read. It was easy to sing along. So that's why this is a CD that's has a special meaning, at least to me. So that's why this one is not leaving the collection, if I can. So that's it. That's my response to this thread. Hope you like the choices I have picked up. So maybe you can do a response to this really cool thread started by the vinyl narrative and other guys that have jumped into this one. So without further ado, this is Christian down here in Santiago, Chile, saying goodbye until next time. Bye bye.